Hazel always knew there was something special about her cat Mooney, but she's still shocked when Mooney opens his mouth to tell her he's just had a vision. An ancient evil has awoken after centuries of sleep, and only one man can stop it, the legendary warrior Beowulf. Unfortunately, it's been over 1,000 years since he slayed a dragon, and he's been reincarnated as this guy. His name is Victor, and he's more unemployed millennial slacker than mighty warrior. Go to monarchpublishing.net for a free sample comic.
Hi everybody, my name is Grant Lankard. This week I'm here with this comic book. It's called New Mutants, Volume 1. It's by Johnathan Hickman and Reis. It deals with them lost in space. I didn't really read any of the comics before this, so I don't know how they got lost in space. Since it's called Volume 1, I didn't think I was going to need to know that. It would have been nice if maybe they had had like a plot synopsis, like, you know, what happened before on the front page. And maybe introducing the characters a little bit more. I didn't know any of these characters because I never really read New Mutants when I was a kid. I read X-Force a little bit, but a lot of these characters I didn't recognize. So it would have been nice if they had introduced some of these characters a little bit. You know, Jim Shooter was the editor at Marvel Comics, and he always said every comic book is somebody's first comic book. And because of that, you should introduce the characters a little bit. Now, that can get annoying if you're reading a Spider-Man comic book, because it's really annoying when they have to introduce who Spider-Man is every issue. Like, that takes up like half a page each issue. But what I'm saying is, if your main character is like Mondo is slightly less well known than Spider-Man, so maybe you might want to introduce him a little bit. The one thing that I did know about the New Mutants was the character Sunspot. I always thought that he was a really neat character design. I don't really care about him, the character, at all, but I just think he, like, as a visual, he's kind of cool. How he's all black, but then he has like the yellow halo around him. Unfortunately, this comic book doesn't really utilize that design very much because normally he's just a regular person and he doesn't really turn into Sunspot that much. So if I'm not a New Mutants fan, why did I buy this comic book? The art is awesome. I actually saw a New Mutants poster hanging in a comic book store and I was like, oh my god, what comic book is that? I need to read it. So the art is obviously an homage to Bill Sienkiewicz, maybe a slightly modernized version of Bill Sienkiewicz. And if you know anything about me, you know I love Bill Sienkiewicz. And the fact that Bill started out on New Mutants makes it even cooler. But Rod Reis's art has everything that I love about Bill Sienkiewicz. It has the huge contrast between dark and light. It has that style where it's really rough in certain spots, but super detailed in others. Basically what I'm saying is that Rod Reis is going to be a huge star. I'm looking forward to what he does after this. Even though I wasn't that big of a fan of this comic book, the story and the characters just kind of left me a little bit flat. There were a couple times where I felt like the humor was too broad. Like there was one scene where Sunspot was hitting on some galactic empress. It felt too broad and cheesy and silly for a superhero comic book to me. I think the storyline and the characters left me a little flat. The art did not. So would I recommend it? I don't know. It depends on how important the art is to you. Like I said, if you're somebody who can just look at a comic book and drool over the art, you'll probably like it. If you need a storyline, though, you might want to look someplace else. So that's my verdict on New Mutants Volume 1. I'll see you back here in 2 weeks. Thank you.